Third round of the Norway Chess, and Vishy Anand takes on Wang Hao. Now, how is this encounter interesting? Is because Wang Hao has beaten Anand 3 times before Anand had beaten him. So Anand had beaten Wang Hao in 2011, but in 2013 Tata Steel, in 2013 Norway Chess, which was the first Norway Chess, then in 2019 at the FIDE chess.com Grand Swiss, all of these events Wang Hao had beaten Anand, and all three classical. So Vishy was, of course, looking out for a revenge. Anand is in tremendous form. Wang Hao is playing well. He's back from sort of semi-retirement, and he is playing with the black pieces in this game. So what we are going to see is that we're going to just have a quick look at the classical game between them, which ended in a draw, and then go to the Armageddon, which ended decisively. So first, the classical game, Anand was playing white, Wang Hao played the Sicilian. We had the Sveshnikov on the board with e5, knight to b5, threatening knight d6. You have d6 here, bishop g5, a6, knight a3, b5, knight d5. This is all well-known theory. Bishop e7, you take on f6 with the bishop because you want your strong knight to stand there in the center. Bishop f6, c3, rook b8, knight c2. The knight is moving to e3. A3 played by Vishy, a5, bishop d3, knight e7. You bring the knight, he takes on e3. You want to take back with the knight. Castles, castles, bishop e6. So black has taken control of his d5 square weakness. So Anand now shifts his focus to this square. After queen b6, now comes a nice move, rook f d1, rook f d8, and first rook d2. Very important. G6. Notice that it's very difficult to play d5 because of all these bishop h7 tricks. Like here, you take with the rook, defending your e5 pawn, but I sack, take, and queen d3 check, winning here, which would be pawn up. This is the first new move of the game. This has all been seen before. Vishy goes a4, nice move. The main point is that if you take b takes a4, there is bishop c4, keeping firm control of the d5 square. b4 was played in the game. Anand played bishop b5. Actually, the accuracy of this game was simply off the charts, because here it seemed like white would start to put some pressure with rook d1, c4 in the air, d6 could get weak, but here comes the move. d5. Excellent move by Wang Hao. And although the engine shows slightly better position for white, here the point is that Wang Hao had seen that this major piece endgame would be a draw. So fantastic play by the Chinese player here to equalize. I think Vishy could have taken and gone rook d1. This was perhaps putting a bit more pressure. You take out your back rank, then you go queen e8 check and rook d8. This is how you can play. There is always some attacking chances. But after rook b1, queen c5, another accurate move, Anand went queen e1, and this endgame was very nicely done by Wang Hao. It's a draw. And here is where Anand's practical thinking comes into the picture. He's like, okay, I can play another 20 moves or so, but I will finally, the game most likely will end in a draw. So he just offered a draw and got ready for the Armageddon. I think this little decision of Anand has a huge impact on the next game, because the Armageddon is 10 minutes and 7 minutes rapid. You need to be fresh. Oh, by the way, there are some interesting things to analyze here. I'm going to put out a video later with me and Vidit analyzing this endgame. He came in commentary and that was very cool. Okay, let's go to the Armageddon game now. Anand has 10 minutes. Wang Hao has 7 minutes. After move 40, you get 1 second increment. So I feel personally that white has a huge edge in this Armageddon, because 10 minutes is a lot, 3-minute edge. Anand started with e4 again, and this showed that how Anand prepared in this ensuing 30 minutes or 20 minutes of break that was there. He went for the Rosolimo, not for d4, which he played in the main game. Wang Hao went g6, Anand castled, bishop g7, c3, now angling to play d4, e5, stopping it. Anand still goes d4. This is a pawn sacrifice. And now he goes for the move bishop f4. So Vishy says, I will round up this pawn at a later point. For now, I want to put my bishop on d6, stop you from castling, and so on. a6. And here, bishop a4 is one of the moves. Anand went for bishop c4. D6, good move by Wang Hao. And now comes knight bd2. And here Wang Hao thought for a bit. Knight f6 was clearly the best move here. And then black castles, and I think he has an excellent opening position. But he went h6, and here it's white to play and win. White to move. So Vishy played bishop d5. This is a good move. Actually, his plan is not, I mean, he's clearing the c4 square for his knight to come here to attack the d6 pawn. But in the game, if you see, knight g7, knight c4, and here Wang Hao castled. Okay, there is also knight e5, giving back material and then sort of equalizing. But he castled here, and this is the point where you realize that Anand could have played slightly better here when if he had gone queen b3. And if now you play queen e7, I can go bishop d5, and you don't have that same knight e7 and castle happening soon. So if you go if you go queen is bishop d5 here, if you go knight f6, then I have knight c4, and now with the queen on e7 you can't even castle because bishop d6 is going to lose material. And if you try to save material with knight e5, knight c4, take, knight f6, bishop d6, very cool move, and then takes here, and knight h4. Also e5 is very powerful, but just knight h4 ends the game with knight g6 coming up. So this is how Anand could have gotten an advantage, but he went bishop d5, knight e7, knight c4, and castles, bishop d6 played, rook e8, and now Vishy went back. He wants to play knight d6 with a tempo, and here Wang Hao went for an interesting move, rook f8. He went back and he's like, okay, draw is okay for me. If it's a draw, Wang Hao wins. So h3 by Anand, this is maybe not the best. Rook e1 could have been better, but h3 stopping bishop g4 ideas in the position. Knight d5, e d5, you can't take the pawn because of knight b6 fork. So knight e7 was played, and a very nice move, because generally you think, okay, you can push the pawn here, but after knight f5, black is better. So knight d4 was played by Vishy, good move. Knight takes d5, and here once again rook e1 would have kept a small edge for white, but knight b3 happened, and this is where Wang Hao started to fight back. b5, good move here, and I think bishop e6 could have been a nice move, but he might not have liked knight c5 in the position. So he went knight to b6 here, knight c5, and now queen f6 would have been around equal the position. But rook a7 was played, b3, excellent move by Vishy Anand, because if you were to take here, then after queen a1, the dark squares are tremendously weak in the black camp, and the knight comes to e4, and then there is a huge sort of weaknesses and attack coming up. So knight d7, Anand went knight e4. Well, you can still think about taking here, because now it's more concrete after f5. And I don't know if I mean, in general, even if you move the knight, like you take here and play knight d6, white should have compensation. But rook c1, knight b6, rook c6, fe4, queen d4, and the position is super complicated. I don't know if Anand would have played all of this, but bishop a1 definitely looks scary when you have just a couple of minutes on the clock. So knight f6 was played, and now Vishy once again finds a great move. Try to think, what should white do? So Anand plays the move rook c1. He's putting pressure on the c8 bishop. And once again, if you play bishop e6, I have knight c5. And these two knights, you know, the number of squares they are covering, it kind of dominates that bishop. So Wang Hao here lost his patience and he took on e4. And Vishy is like, that's a mistake. And rook c8, good move. Take, knight take, rook takes. and queen g4. Anand has a queen for a rook and a piece, and he's clearly better. But it's not so simple. Rook e8, bishop f4. He's just rerouting the bishop to a very good square on e3. Rook e7, bishop e3, rook e6. Now the rook comes to d1. And here I think Wang Hao missed his chance with h5, because now this is a draw. How? Well, if you play queen f3, there is rook f6. Suddenly the queen has to go to e2 and there is a fork that is happening here. And otherwise there are no squares. If you go to h4, bishop f6, queen h4, bishop e5, queen h6, bishop g7, keep attacking, and somehow the game ends in a draw, and Wang Hao would have got that half point here. But he went d4, and this gave Anand the chance. He went rook d3, a5, queen came back, knight d1, knight c3, queen d2, h5, rook went in, bishop f6 takes, queen d7, rook d8, queen c7, rook d5, protecting there, g4, excellent move by Vishy, takes. He's going to kind of expand there, queen c6, again a very powerful move, because now this bishop is hanging, this rook is hanging, but there is rook d1, king g2, and now the bishop is kind of lacking squares. Like, let's say if you go bishop c3 here, then queen e8 check, king g7, and already bishop c5. I am creating a lot of mating ideas. So in the game, king g7 was played. If even bishop g7, there is queen e8, bishop f8, bishop c5. So king h7, queen f7, white wins. So king g7, and find the winning move for white here. White to play and win. Bishop h6, boom, takes, and Anand didn't even care to take this pawn. He's going for a mate here, check, and king h3. And here Wang Hao resigned, or even was just very low on time. And Vishy Anand scored his third win of this tournament, this time in Armageddon. So he doesn't get these 3 points of classical chess, but he got 1.5 points. And let me just show you the standings here. These are these are the standings. Vishy Anand now leading the tournament with 7.5 points. You have Wesley So on 6, Magnus Carlsen on 5.5, MVL 4.5, Anish 4, Vishy still at the top. He's going to face Wesley So today, so that's going to be a very tough game for him, that too with the black pieces. Some pictures from yesterday. This is the opening of the game. Vishy there, the opening move being made on his game against Wang Hao, and look at the focus, like completely focused there and fully concentrated. And here's a very nice picture where two Azeris, Rajabov and Mamidyarov, enter, and all the kids are waiting there. And what are the kids waiting for? Because their hero, the local guy, Magnus Carlsen, enters, and they all surround him and take these very nice pictures. This was before the game. Magnus beat Rajabov and was quite pleased on the day. But as of now, it's all Vishy in Stavanger, Norway Chess. We hope that his dream run continues, and that he's able to maybe win this tournament. For now, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye-bye.